love, we're all about sharing, we're all about being multicultural, we're all about embracing and being senseis and teaching and basically bringing the best out in people. And for the people like Earth that we can't teach, the people that are really high up, we say, hey, guess what? If you can help us, give us some ideas how we can change music industry, change the movies we make, or anything like that, how about we'll entertain you, we'll make you laugh, we'll start with some comedy that you're just, on your ass laughing, but we'll bag the shit out of ourselves and our past. And we'll make you feel good. And then once we know you feel good, then you'll have like a fondness for us. So, it's all that sneaky sort of stuff. But, at the end of the day, that's why I wanted to get out of the mask, put a little tinfoil hat on. Because, it's a mask made in Africa. There's probably a lot of people in Africa that don't follow the ancient knowledge. The eyes on it, they're not human. There's no... Look at the eyes, alright? Maybe the mouth might be, human, but those eyes, alright? What's in Egypt, what's at the ankle, what's around Maya, all around the world. If you study those things, they had visitations, alright? A lot has changed since then. And guess what? They probably had thinking through their heads, okay, white man, English man is going to come in and destroy a whole heap and turn it into chaos. But we've got to sit back and let it go by, because at the end of the day, you know how your life and what you go through, it's like you come to a certain, that it was a lesson, and it's a lesson for someone else to view than to get something out of it. And that's what life is. We had to go through this sort of things. I had to go through my life. Vacheka had to go through her bad life. Vacheka is like my first girlfriend. She's only had one other boyfriend before. He was an absolute bastard. Girlfriend. He was an absolute monkey of a bastard. And, I'm not going to get too personal and sort of get down to it, because I think that's a little bit too much. But, I am a good listener. I'm very intelligent. So never knock my intelligence. I might be a bit lazy, I might be up and down every now and then. But if I were to catch up with someone and they treated me with respect, they didn't have to tell me where they were from. We could have a few drinks together, have a meal, go for a walk, have a bit of a chat. They get to know me, and they cared for me to a certain degree. So this guy's alright, We could have a bit of a laugh, and, they're going to share a part of me. So just think this, right? It's the laws of the attraction and how the universe works. If you get to bond with someone and get to know them, you automatically become connected semi to them, alright? So you might have, if there's big business or intelligence communities and they want to suss me out and go, is this guy going to be good for a job, I don't want to know all the bad stuff that's going on. I don't want the toppest clearance, but I want to know to be able to talk to everyone from the toppest of the clearance. And I want to say, this is my mission, alright? I sign a contract that I don't disclose what I talk to other people from other countries about. They don't go around and tell other people what I talk to them. So I don't tell you, but the thing is, it's got the best interests of heart. So why the reason, I had a thing that went through my mind, it's like, no, I can't just go for work for ASIO right now and later on down the track, because how the system is that I won't be able to work with China, I won't be able to work with Russia. But I just want to say, I want to be their best friend. So I wanted to get to a certain stage that I could be invited to around to meet Vladimir Putin. And I could ask the ETs, can you upgrade like Neo, like put in Russian into my mind? Like, I want to get to know these people, and I want to say, hey, I'm a genuine person, I'm caring, I've got this master plan, alright? I might not seem like the big hot shot sort of, all the shit there is in the world, but I'm a modern day prophet that's doing his own thing. And if Jesus had the internet and had this, I've got this saying that, share your relative piece of pie. So I'm Italian, so what you do is you've got the idea, you've got all the information, you build a pizza out of it, you cut it up in slices, you send it out to each country. This is the ingredients, this is what you got to do. Start putting good stuff on your news companies, start doing this. Tell the people who own these news companies that they can make money by educating people, and they'll be on your side. Instead of realising, having it in the back of your consciousness of all the bad stuff and thinking that they're going to catch on, guess what? If everyone becomes like me and becomes spiritual and becomes understanding, they're not going to give two shits or two hoots what's going on. They're going to be about enjoying their life. They're going to be glad for the opportunity for people to be happy and to be working connected. So movies by our thinking intelligence communities and everyone. So I'm talking to the intelligence communities because I think this is because you're getting paid for it, so obviously you've got to write some report. So just say you get to a certain degree and you want to tell your boss something but you think they're not going to like to hear it. Go home, write it on a pen to paper, not on the computer, and think about it. Brainstorm on it, keep it somewhere. If you get to a certain degree you think they're going to see it, burn it. But before you burn it, have a ceremony and say to life, universe and everything, hopefully these messages get passed on to the ETs or God and they seed it for us. And that's what's going to happen. I said to the ETs that everything is going to dramatically just start now, and it has. Everything is speeding up massively when we have this connection. So you've got to show initiative, right? These ETs have lived a good life. They haven't had that much help. And they're like, guys, just think about it, just ask, just put things forward, and we'll do something about it. We're not going to come in and just say, here you go, and see us, in 1,000 years, get to a certain stage. But guess what? We bring all the universes together, and we don't rule, we don't become more in charge, we don't get to know about stuff we don't want to know. We say, just let Martin be ambassador. Martin doesn't, Martin just wants us to learn. He wants people up the top to be recorrected. He wants them to end up being good people. He wants to eventually, not for him to personally see them cry, but for them to show emotion. For one day, for it to kick in for them, 30 years down the track, once they've done the right thing, they come to terms with it. That day, when that happens, the ETs will probably come down and watch it. And once they watch it, they might feel good, but then they'll feel bad and get over it and say, they've done a lot more good and they made this happen, so we should feel bad for judging these people. But for all the people that have done bad, maybe that might happen. So instead of trying to go against these people, like Dr. Stephen Greer is really great, and I like Peter Maxwell Slattery, but I try to convey it to him over the internet when I had a few drinks and I wasn't quite sure what he thought about it. But I want to talk to Peter Maxwell Slattery because he's made a lot of contact, he's high up there in the ET field. But I wanted to say, hey, how can we go about influencing the media and creating a community down here that we change people's opinions? We can work with the government and say, hey, we're not ET related, but we are semi-ET related. Just look at the Pepsi ad, that's what we're trying to do. But guess what? You know how you always fear against going against big business? Well, we create an educational system that we help big business and they like us. They have our back. We say, hey, we'll create a new mission statement for every big business. We'll get, okay, just say for instance, we have an educational system that's the shit. Like the bee's knees, thinking of the greatest things, running their own businesses. Big business goes, hey, these guys are like, and they come to us and say, Martin, because I don't want to rule, but I just want to be in charge and oversee it. I just want to put it in place like the dictator speech, like Charlie Chapman's dictator speech. Like I felt that was like me, because I would be a dictator for a day to put things in place to put it back to the people. And it was like ruler of Austria, something of Tanzania. It was like Australia, Tasmania. But, and like people are now going to listen to this, go, you're up yourself, man, it's whatever. But, like how many people have thought about, I've got A and Z. I'm not sure if I talked about this in this video or the other movie, but I've got A. A is to the power of who you are. So me is me, I'm on Earth, so locally the power of me is me and my family and my friends that I know of. Maybe in reality, maybe it's the whole of Australia, national security, maybe it's Russia, maybe it's China, maybe, all these other countries like, hey, this sounds really great. We've got to help, but the educational system starts, right? I want it to start in Tasmania. I want to go for a job at ASIO. I want to say, hey, my girlfriend, for her to be happy, we want to have a house. So I want to be able to talk to you as much as I can, be put on the books. I want to spend time with my daughter, but what I want to do is strengthen the relations between our country and all the superpowers and all the other countries, right? It's something that I become a good friend with them and know that we sign something, that I'm abiding by you, and I've got to, you know, I'm not gonna be a spy or not gonna do anything wrong. Like, this is the ultimate plan. Like, you don't realise, by the human race getting together and showing initiative and getting together and doing it, that we change everything. We bring all the universes together and say, hey, the human race did something that no one's done before for the fullest capacity, and the human race is supposed to go out and help other races like them and say, hey, we're there for you and we can do it. This is why how, and say, guess why it was so fucked up? It was because we worked it all out, and some computer out there got jealous. So that's it. Someone got jealous. Hitler went mad for him going mad for the reasons for people dying. Guy from Cambodia that ruled started killing all the Cambodians because he went mad. Every person that's had some power has gone mad. I've even gone mad, but I've lost my marbles. Alright? I'm about finding my path, finding my mission, knowing that I can do anything that I want as long as I've got my heart and intent. And I can think of, people will say, I'm only going, well, sorry, they're not going to say I'm only going to listen to a little bit of this, but I'm only going to pick out a little bits and pieces that I'm going to acknowledge, and then I'm going to say, hey, no man, this isn't going to work because of this and that, and it's like, there is no problem. The only problem is how you look at it. Trust me, I've sorted it out. Wait, what China needs to do is they need to embrace being Buddhist, embrace all the religions they've got in, embrace the Tao. They've got to know that I've got their respect, and at the end of the day they haven't taken over any land, so it's not like they're scarred or done anything wrong to the native people on their land. They've just got to realise that the real religion that they had and their history in the past. Find out what's in the pyramids. Whoever are the elites, you've got to find out, because they're the illuminated ones. They're the ones that, they're not illuminated like me. They're not like me or Peter Maxwell Slattery, or, you know, people that have got this connection that have chosen here to do it. But the thing is, we can all help each other. And Greer, I could not be where I am today without Greer. I could not have made the contact. Look at Justin Bieber. I shouldn't call him Bieber. He should be Bieber. But is it too late to say sorry? And that's the whole thing. You know, like, don't get caught up in it and don't get too famous. And, you know, I don't want to be in the limelight. But, you know, the day that I get to do a good job and I get to say to my family and my friends, for all the people who after me, say, hey, you know, like, I work for ASIO or I work for somewhere, I can't tell you what I do because I'd have to kill you. Haha, only joking. But, you know, like, I've made something of my life and I'm making an impact, and I'm showing, like, I'm not going to name names like some agencies, how they just are drug cartels and that's how they make their money. But, you know, like, big whoop, you know, like, change it. And, you know, like, you can be good, and, you know, like, you just got to realise that so many people are making all this money from all these little side things. That's why all these wars have been, is for like oil or heroin or all these things. And do you know what all the money's going to? It's going about weaponising space, it's going into back engineering UFOs and making weapons. That is the wrong thing to do, okay? I had a bit of a slow start when I was at school, but from how far I've come from then to now, if I had this attitude and this will, that I could have been working for Black Ops, and I still would have been a good person. So there's probably still people out there that are very good. So I'm talking to you now, and I'm saying that you can make a difference, alright? You know, the ETs are very patient. There's systems in place to shoot down UFOs whenever they come into our atmosphere. We've got to stop it. You know, like, we're getting looked at, right? We're getting looked at right now, alright? Because just think this, my message is to all the universes, all the dimensions, hey, there must be a universal law that we can all follow and say, hey, there must be a certain standard that we got to live by. And as long as they get educated and they show initiative and they work it out themselves and they get a little bit of help, and then in return it creates so much help throughout everything, then let them have it. You know, like, imagine if, you know, you could write your own commandments. people like who are religious, you cannot write your own commandments, only God and people, whatever, could write their own commandments. Why don't you write your own commandments now? Why don't you get out a piece of paper? That's what you've got to do. So much has changed, and I've learnt so much by writing out my own commandments. I even signed a contract that I, you know, put some, like, hurt my finger and put some blood on it, said that I never want to rule, that I only want to guide, and that I'm there to help everyone to get through. And I did so much writing, and people thought it was gibberish and that I've lost my marbles, but hey, like, it's not going to be till later on down the track, but just say, it's not an ego. So for the people out there, the intelligence communities that know what's going on, they're not going to say it's an ego, but for all the other people out there, it's a realization. You've got to realize what you're doing and the power of what you've done. But no, if you're always harping on about what your status is and what you've done, they will never listen, they'll never catch on, they'll never listen to you, and they'll never do what you say. So I'm Morpheus. I thought I was Neo, but I was the black guy that thought he was one, but one is us all working together. And, you know, we've got to give it back to the indigenous. We've got to give it back to the coloured people.